What I have here is a valve cover for a 2JZ GTE non-VVTi engine. So on the inside of these, they have these baffles, and you can see I've already been doing some drilling. It's important to keep this square so that your drill's going straight down and there's no angle to it. And the way I was able to sort of work around that in a cheap fashion was just made this little jig out of wood. Essentially what it does is it holds the valve cover by kind of this lip right here, and it holds it down nice and square. That way when I'm putting it in the vise, it kind of holds it for me. But these baffles on both valve covers are riveted in place, and in order to get those out, you need to use a 21/64 drill bit, and you need to just drill them out. Now, you don't want to drill all the way through. You just want to drill to the point where it basically detaches the baffle itself from the valve cover, and it should pretty much just pop right out. There's a small little layer of silicone underneath here that you may have to use like a screwdriver. I just use like this little flathead screwdriver to pry it, but I mean, you barely have to use any force and it'll pop right out. So the reason you would want to do this is if you're powder coating or sandblasting your valve covers, you can get sand and stuff all up underneath these baffles. And if you don't take these out when you do that process, that's going to get in your engine ultimately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have everything sent off and cleaned and powder coated, and when it's all done, I'll be able to put this baffle back up and just kind of bolt them in place. But I'm going to tap these with M6 threads and go to the hardware store and get some bolts for that. So stay tuned. All right, so setting up for the second part of this, I've already drilled the baffle out. Now you've got these little spots, and what you need to do is you need to drill all the spots that you just drilled out with a smaller drill bit. This one is going to be a 13/64. And what I did is I went ahead and I put painter's tape on this at a 1/2 inch of depth. So when I reach 1/2 inch of depth, that's where I know I need to stop. So that's kind of just going to be my reference point right here. So I'm going to put this up there and I'm going to drill down to that. And then I'll do that to all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. And then I will use a M6 tap to actually thread the holes so that I can use bolts to hold the baffles in. All right, so here we have the finished product. I haven't ordered the bolts yet, but it came out really nicely. As you can see, I just hosed it down, so it's a little bit wet. But it's all that gunk is built up under there, so when you powder coat it, it'll come out. But we've got all of these threaded holes. They came out really good. So what you do is you put that baffle back on after the powder coating process. You can seal along this underside of the lip with silicone. And then you're going to use M6. I'm going to use button cap bolts, so I'll use an Allen wrench to kind of get them in there. I'm going to use red Loctite so they don't come off. So that will be perfect for the application I need, and you won't see it. And then, you know, obviously when it's on the car, it's just going to look like that. So pretty exciting.